The story follows a brave female Army officer who becomes the first woman to join the intense U.S. Navy SEAL training. While many doubt her abilities, she proves them all wrong, succeeding in a program that even some men fail to complete. The movie begins at a Senate Armed Services Committee hearing. Retired Officer Theodore Hayes is being considered for the role of Secretary of the Navy. During the discussion, the committee addresses the Navy's limited opportunities for women. Hayes tries to defend the status quo, but Senator Leland DeHaven, a bold and determined woman from Texas, interrupts him. She criticizes the Navy's long-standing bias against women. To back her claim, DeHaven shows a classified report called the Lark Report. She shares it with everyone in the room, exposing shocking statements from high-ranking Navy officials. The report shows negative comments and views about women, suggesting they are not suitable for military jobs. After the hearing, the Navy quickly arranges a private meeting with DeHaven. They're worried about the negative remark by public and want to stop her. In this meeting, the Department of Defense, DoD, proposes a deal. If a woman can pass their toughest training program, she will be allowed to join. DeHaven knows it's a trap. They'll pick the most difficult program to make her fail and humiliate her. But she accepts the challenge, knowing the publicity will strengthen her cause and boost her career. The DoD chooses the Navy Combined Reconnaissance Team (CRT) program for the test. This is no ordinary training. Almost 60% of men quit before the 4th week. And the 3rd week, famously called Hell Week, pushes trainees to their absolute limits. The officials are confident no woman will survive even the 1st week. Next, we meet Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill, a brilliant topographic analyst working in a Navy satellite monitoring room. She's coordinating the rescue of a Navy SEAL team trapped in a war zone. The team has lost contact with the control room, and a suggestion is made to send backup forces to their original pickup point. However, this will take 18 minutes, a dangerous delay. O'Neill quickly comes up with a bold plan. She proposes changing the rescue site, reasoning that the SEAL team, being highly skilled, would already be moving to a safer exit. Analyzing satellite images, she identifies a better location that could save precious time. Her suggestion is approved, and within 9 minutes, the SEAL team reestablishes contact from the exact spot O'Neill predicted. The team is rescued just in time, avoiding a disaster. Meanwhile, Senator DeHaven and her team carefully select a candidate for the CRT program. She rejects a triathlete for being too lean and a powerlifter for appearing overly muscular. DeHaven wants someone who represents the everyday woman, someone who doesn't look exceptionally strong, but can prove that women of all shapes and sizes are capable of excelling in the Navy. Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill catches everyone's attention with her impressive achievements. She's not only a former Olympic triathlon competitor, but also excels academically. Plus, she fits the image of being traditionally feminine, which appeals to Senator DeHaven's plan. After a hectic day at work, Jordan meets her fiancé, Lieutenant Commander Royce Harper, who works as an operational officer for the Navy. He congratulates her for handling a tough situation, but warns her to stay out of similar ones. After all, she's an intelligence officer, not a soldier. Later, Jordan gets an urgent call to meet Senator DeHaven at her office. There, the senator hands her documents about the Navy's CRT, Combat Readiness Training Program. She explains the significance of the mission. If Jordan completes the training, it could open the door for women to join the Navy in the future. That evening, Jordan talks about the program with Royce, but he isn't very supportive. He points out the dangers of CRT, brutal physical challenges that could leave her with permanent injuries. Plus, she'd have to share space with men who might not respect her. And if she passes, she'd be deployed for long periods, which might affect their relationship. Royce even admits he might not have the patience to wait for her. Jordan feels hurt and underestimated, but this only strengthens her resolve. She becomes determined to prove everyone wrong and signs up for the CRT program. A few days later, she arrives at the training center. The commanding officer gives her a separate room, away from the male trainees. News spreads quickly that a woman has joined the program, and the men aren't happy. That evening, when Jordan enters the mess hall, she faces mocking and sexist remarks from the other trainees. The next day, training begins, and the commanding officer warns the group that most of them won't survive the first 3 weeks. He introduces Command Master Chief John Ural, their training supervisor, a tough, serious man. John doesn't care that Jordan is a woman. While inspecting uniforms, he recites a poem, Self-Pity by D.H. Lawrence, subtly reminding them to toughen up and not feel sorry for themselves. The training is brutal from the start. The trainees are taught to carry heavy military boats, launch them into the sea, and get down quickly. The physical drills are relentless, designed to test their limits. Master Chief John makes it clear that anyone who wants to quit can ring the bell at the front of the yard 3 times and leave. Jordan doesn't get any special treatment from John, but the other trainees make sure she hears their sexist remarks. At night, things get worse. The group is given only 4 minutes to eat dinner, leading to a chaotic rush for food. Just as they start eating, the trainers order them back to the field, forcing everyone to throw their food away and continue on empty stomachs. This difficult routine carries into the next day. The trainees endure freezing seawater during drills, and only afterward are they medically evaluated and allowed to eat. Jordan secretly puts a piece of bread in her pocket and eats some of the cold leftovers. After dinner, John assigns an essay. Why do you want to join the U.S. Navy? It's a test of endurance, not just writing skills. As the exhausted trainees try to focus, John plays calming opera music to make them fall asleep. Anyone caught dozing off is immediately expelled from the camp. O'Neill secretly takes a bite of the bread she had hidden earlier, using it to keep herself awake during the test. 15 minutes later, John walks back into the room and orders everyone to head to the training yard for their next challenge. The team is tasked with running an obstacle course, which includes dodging live gunfire. O'Neill is informed she'll be provided with a platform to help her clear some of the hurdles. She protests, insisting she wants no special treatment and should face the same challenges as her male counterparts. However, her objections are dismissed, as the Army rulebook states that obstacle heights for female cadets must be adjusted. As the training begins, John watches O'Neill defy orders by refusing to use the platforms. She tackles each obstacle just like the rest of her team. At one point, she even helps her teammates by letting them climb on her back to get over a wall. But when it's her turn to climb, none of them help her. It's clear they're not ready to accept her presence in a traditionally male-dominated space. At the same time, the tough 20-hour-a-day training starts to wear out the soldiers. Many begin to quit, unable to endure the physical and mental strain. But O'Neill keeps going, pushing herself beyond her limits. Still, she's haunted by the fact that she was offered a platform to make the course easier. Determined to be treated equally, she confronts the commanding officer. Instead of support, she faces sexist remarks, making it clear that her presence is unwelcome. Frustrated, O'Neill takes a drastic step. She goes to a barbershop and cuts her hair short, leaving her feminine appearance. Then, she packs her things and moves into the common sleeping quarters with the male trainees, refusing to stay in her separate room. Her actions stir up tension, especially when the men notice she's brought tampons. However, Command Master John observes her bold move and isn't pleased. The scene shifts to Hayes, who is now the Secretary of the Navy. Along with other Defense Department officials, Hayes is frustrated by the news that O'Neill has lasted 3 weeks in training. Although her progress was supposed to remain classified, the public has caught wind of her story and started calling her G.I. Jane. Back at the camp, training becomes even tougher, but G.I. Jane rises to the challenge, working harder than ever to prove her doubters wrong. Her dedication begins to show as she becomes leaner and more muscular. News reporters grow desperate for a quick look of this woman breaking barriers in the military. One day, while O'Neill is showering alone, Command Master John approaches her with news. The senior member of her team has been hospitalized with a fractured leg. This leaves O'Neill as the most experienced soldier in her group, and she's appointed team leader. Meanwhile, Hayes and the Defense Department officials remain hopeful she'll quit during the SEAR phase of training. Survival, evasion, resistance. and escape. This phase simulates real-life scenarios where trainees are dropped into hostile territory, tasked with gathering intelligence and escaping without being captured. During the exercise, 2 of O'Neill's team members refuse her orders and are captured. Another teammate breaks his leg while rushing back to safety. O'Neill tries to help him but gets captured herself. The SEAR training officers treat the scenario as if it's real. They offer no help to the injured man and instead begin torturing him for information. When it's O'Neill's turn, she faces interrogation by none other than Command Master John. With her hands tied behind her back, she faced brutal treatment. John beats her relentlessly, ignoring warnings from another officer that it's too much. He becomes more violent, smashing O'Neill's head through a door and pushing her into freezing water, while shouting at her to tell where her teammates are. Despite the pain, O'Neill urges her team to stay silent. John, trying to break her spirit, takes things too far and tries to rip her pants off, claiming it's part of the training. But O'Neill fights back. She kicks John hard between the legs and follows with 2 more powerful strikes to his body. Even though John recovers and knocks her out, her bravery stands out. John then turns to the other trainees, trying to justify his actions. He says he's doing this to prove that O'Neill isn't cut out for fighting. But O'Neill fires back with a bold insult, telling him to kiss her backside. Her male teammates cheer for her, even mocking John with the same insult. Over time, O'Neill manages to turn the group of mismatched soldiers into a strong, united team. This earns her John's respect. Word spreads that she's passed the grueling SEAR training, and Senator DeHaven is thrilled. O'Neill's courage also wins her the respect of her peers, who now treat her as an equal and a friend. One day, while relaxing at the beach with her female friends, someone secretly takes photos of her. These photos are sent to the higher-ups, who accuse O'Neill of being homosexual and claim that her actions are a disgrace to the Navy. She's told she must leave training. O'Neill is determined to keep going and believes someone is trying to destroy her. But the investigation drags on, and she's told that if she's cleared, she'll have to restart the entire program. Frustrated and angry, O'Neill rings the bell 3 times, signaling her decision to quit. Back home, her fiancé shows her something shocking. The anonymous photos were sent from Senator DeHaven's office. The same senator who supported her success had turned against her. DeHaven was using O'Neill as part of her political games. She wanted O'Neill to succeed just enough to scare the men in power, but not enough to pass the training and prove them wrong. DeHaven even used O'Neill as a bargaining tool to keep military bases open in Texas. O'Neill confronts the senator, but DeHaven denies everything at first. Later, she admits to her schemes, but brushes it off as politics. O'Neill, refusing to be a pawn, threatens to expose her to the press. The senator backs off, and O'Neill decides to return to training. When she arrives, her teammates welcome her warmly. Soon, the final phase of training begins, but an emergency interrupts it. A satellite with weapons-grade plutonium has crashed in the Libyan desert, and the trainees are sent to assist Army Rangers in recovering it. During the mission, O'Neill risks being spotted by a Libyan soldier. John saves her by shooting the soldier, but this gives away their position. A fight breaks out, forcing John to move away from the team. O'Neill, noticing that John is heading in the wrong direction, takes charge. She leads the team to rescue him from a deadly trap filled with explosives. Thanks to her quick thinking and leadership, they save John and complete the mission. Helicopters arrive for backup, and the mission is declared a success. Everyone who participated is accepted into the CRT. In the final scene, John gives O'Neill his Navy Cross and a book of poetry with D.H. Lawrence's self-pity. It's his way of honoring her bravery and thanking her for saving his life.